exploiting immigration reform for personal gain. That is the subject of tonight's Waters Words. This week, President Trump threw his support behind a plan to scale back legal immigration. Each year, the U.S. gives about 1 million green cards to people. Many of them go to family members of U.S. citizens. Republican senators want to cut the number of green cards issued in half over the next decade, and high-skilled workers, English speakers, and financially stable people would get a leg up. Extended family members would be given less of a priority. So instead of letting in someone's cousin who doesn't have a great education and can't speak English, President Trump wants to bring in educated, skilled English speakers who can contribute to the economy. Common sense, right? Not according to CNN White House correspondent Jim Acosta. Just to refresh your memory, this is the guy President Trump kneecapped twice already this year for getting out of line.
President-elect, can you give us a question? You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you stay categorically?
You are fake news.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
So back to this week. During a White House press briefing with White House Senior Policy Advisor Stephen Miller, Jim Acosta decides to question the immigration policy proposal by reciting the Statue of Liberty poem. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Things got ugly for Acosta quickly.
In the 1990s, when it was 500,000 a year, was it violating or not violating the Statue of Liberty law of the land?
Was it violating?
When it was 700,000 a year. No, tell me what years. Tell me what years. Tell me what years meet. Tell me what years meet Jim Acosta's definition of the Statue of Liberty poem law of the land. So you're saying 1 million a year is the Statue of Liberty number. 900,000 violates it. 800,000 violates it.
We're in a period of immigration right now. The president wants to build a wall. You want to bring about a sweeping change to
surely,
immigration?
Jim, you don't actually think that a wall affects green card policy. You couldn't possibly believe that, do you? Actually, the notion that you actually think immigration is at a historic law, the foreign-born population in the United States today, Jim,
staff on Monday talking about how border crossings.
Do you really? I want to be serious, Jim. Do you really at CNN not know the difference between green card policy and illegal immigration?
Are we just going to bring in people from Great Britain and Australia?
Jim, actually, I have to honestly say, I am shocked at your statement that you think that only people from Great Britain and Australia would know English. It's so insulting to millions of hard-working immigrants who do speak English from all over the world. Jim, have you honestly never met an immigrant from another country who speaks English outside of Great Britain and Australia? Is that your personal experience?
Of course there are people who come in.
But that's not what you said, and it shows your cosmopolitan bias. And I just want to say,
it sounds like you're trying to engineer the racial and ethnic flow of people into this country.
Jim, that is one of the most outrageous, insulting, ignorant, and foolish things you've ever said, and for you that's still a really, the notion that you think that this is a racist bill is so wrong and so insulting.
Wow, Jim really took one on the chin. Earth to Acosta. The United States has the largest immigrant population in the world, and we're home to 20% of all of the world's immigrants. Bringing in low-skilled, non-English speaking immigrants depresses wages for American workers here and explodes the welfare state. This doesn't put America first. Apparently, Acosta wants to put himself first. He tried to take a little victory lap after getting mauled by Miller. Here's what he said on the Situation Room.
I think at times this White House has an unhealthy fixation on what I call the 3 M's, the Mexicans, the Muslims, and the media. Their policies tend to be crafted around bashing one of those 3 groups, and we just see it time and again.
Now, I don't know Acosta personally. He's probably a decent guy, but he's a hot dog now. He's crossed the line between being an objective White House reporter to a self-serving political pundit advocating his own agenda. Now, there's room for that on cable news, but not in the White House press room. And that's tonight's Waters Words.